Well, good morning traders. Andrew Baxter here from Australian Investment Education, where we help you create tomorrow's wealth today. And welcome to today's stopwatch. And I have to say, this has probably been the hardest stopwatch for me to really consider, because the stock that we're covering today is a company in the US called Tesla, TSLA, famous for, amongst other things, its electric motor cars. And I have to say at the outset, this has been difficult for me because it is a product and a company I absolutely love. It's a stock that's been extremely lucrative for me from a trading perspective, but just looking at the business, a great product that's safe, that's a real game changer, doing some real positive things for the environment, and really redefining what motor transport could be all about. And let's face it, the performance on them, well, I mean, it would give this thing a run for its money. It's an incredible car to drive, that's for sure. But we're going to look, rather than the emotive issues that I've just gone through, making money from the stock, loving the product, loving the company, loving its philosophy, and what that highlights, by the way, even as a professional trader and investor as I am, that it's important not to fall in love with the stocks that you're trading or investing in. What we're going to do is look at the numbers, and at the moment, it's a really murky picture, and this is something that's given me great cause for concern. I guess in the interest of disclosure, I am holding long positions in the stock. I've got a fairly sizable chunk of that stock, and I'm just disclosing that to you right now. And the stock at the moment is trading at around $355 a share. It's not the cheapest stock in the market by a large margin. And Nomura, the investment bank, Japanese investment bank, have just initiated coverage on Tesla, as a matter of fact, and they've put a $500 price target on that stock. So there's potential for a nice significant run up for the stock. But let's look at the actual business itself right now to get a gauge of whether that's realistic and what sort of time frame that's possible to be achieved over. And my biggest concern as a holder of the stock and someone that's followed this company very, very closely for a number of years are the figures for car sales. It's a car business after all, and the last quarter it sold around 26,000 units of its product. Now the breakdown for those sales are around about 14,000 units in the Model S, and it would be very fair to say that the sales of the Model S car have been slowing down and declining over the last number of months, which would show perhaps the product has matured and people have moved on to the next product. The next product, of course, in Tesla's stable is the Model X, which is the one that's got the really cool X-Wing DeLorean Back to the Future type doors on the side of it. Around 12,000 sales from that car over the last quarter, which is tiny when you look at the global car market, but nonetheless is a sizable number. Now the sales for the Model 3, the new lower price point product that Tesla's launched, were just shy of 200 units. And look, it's a new product. However, if we look at the tweets, for example, at the launch of the Model 3 from Elon Musk, they were looking at 1,500 units to be sold in September, so to say that they're behind is something of an understatement. But it's not just about the volume of sales. With bringing on a new product in what is a capital-intensive industry, the car industry, you look at the margins within the business, and the gross margins, I would, crunching the numbers, suggest are around about 20%. The company says they want around 30%, so margins are getting squeezed quite hard right now too. So what does that mean? Well, at some point in time, the company will run out of cash. It's not selling enough product to support the R&D and the cost of building it. It's not making a profit, for example, and that's something that you need to do in business. After all, that's one of the drivers, no pun intended, talking about a car company, but it's one of the major drivers for the metrics of an investment. You want to look at companies that can be profitable. Obviously, Tesla's share price has been astronomical because people are buying into what the future potential of that stock really is. So there's the opportunity for the company may need to go around, do the rounds, raise another chunk of capital. It's done that many, many times before. It shouldn't be hard. It's got some very significant loyal backers behind it, but nonetheless, having to go and raise further capital is another concern. So where do I see the business right now? Look, it's solid in terms of the way its share price has been performing. The tech sector, as we know, has been very, very strong. You look at it over the last 12, 18 months particularly, it's been very, very strong. But there are just a couple of warning signs there that have prompted me to tighten up my stop loss, which again, with a stock like Tesla that is a volatile stock, you've got to give your stop losses room to accommodate the pulsing, the breathing, if you will, of those stocks. But I've just tightened up my stop a little bit, and were I to get stopped out of that trade right now, I wouldn't be that upset. It's locking in great profit, but I would suggest that there is a potential for a little bit of a bumpy road, again, no pun intended, for the stock as we start to see the expectation from the market that Model 3 starts to ramp up production and starts to really create some decent volume. It's not doing that right now. I don't really believe the car is in production in terms of the small volume that's come off the ramp so far. I guess it's still at the beta stage where they're ironing out kinks in the hose. And look, let's not lose sight of one thing. Elon Musk has been a phenomenal entrepreneur in every endeavor. And when you see the guy with his back against the wall going, look, you know, the odds of success perhaps are stacked against you, that's exactly the kind of environment that he thrives in, and he's done it time and time and time again. I'm a massive fan of Elon Musk. I'm a massive fan of Tesla. I'm just looking at the moment in the way that I'm trading the stock in the short term. It may be that I look to buy back in again for a further run in, and if Nomura's profit target of $500 a share is about right, well, there's plenty of upside there. If anyone can run this business and turn it around and get it firing in the way that it's got the capacity, it is Elon Musk. There are issues with the factory, the Gigafactory bringing that online. Again, if anyone can turn that business around and get it to where it needs to be, it's Elon Musk. Very, very interesting stock. And this is a tricky broadcast because I hope from my words, and please don't hear me today, I hope you feel me, this is a stock I absolutely love. It is a stock and a business, I think, if things go well for it, that will go down in history as being a major game changer. They're not leaving a small number of white consumer goods that are pretty cool and defining a new age. It is a genuine game changer in terms of the environment and changing the way that people look at renewable energy in particular. And nothing would give me a greater smile of satisfaction in 20-30 years time seeing the success of this business. But we trade the here and now, and that's one of the difficulties that we have, is disconnecting the emotion about an investment versus the practicalities of making profit. As a trader, our job is to make profit, and as a result, looking to manage the emotion out. I think, as I say, with a tighter stop, if I get triggered out of that, I'll be looking for re-entry when I start to see some figures of Model 3 coming through. Very interesting. As always, trading and investing involves risk. Past performance, no guarantee of future performance. Use those stops to protect your capital. Controversial one today. Very difficult for me to talk to you in this way about a stock I truly love, but I hope this gives you a bit of an insight in terms of how a professional trader can still labor with decisions when it's a stock that they get close to. Have a great day. Happy trading. Chat soon.